Welcome to today's custom deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. We are we're looking at a pretty fascinating stack of psychological notes and articles today.
Yeah, all centered on the hidden emotional architecture of our closest partnerships.
Right. And the mission today is to figure out the mechanics behind why seemingly trivial everyday conflicts often feel, well, incredibly heavy. Like what is actually happening beneath the surface of domestic life?
What's fascinating here is the foundational concept anchoring these notes. It borrows from Jesse Jackson's famous 1969 poem, I Am Somebody.
Which originally, that was a really powerful demand for societal dignity and civil rights.
It was, yeah. But when you map that demand onto intimate relationship psychology, it bridges beautifully to the micro level.
Mm.
We are looking at the demand for relational dignity.
Relational dignity.
Yes, because in adult partnerships, your chosen partner essentially becomes the primary witness to your life. You share such close proximity, so they're uniquely positioned to either validate your dignity or just entirely dismantle it.
That proximity really is a double-edged sword, though. You are giving someone front row seats to your daily struggles, your habits, your totally unpolished moments.
Exactly.
When a relationship is functioning well, that constant witnessing serves as a stabilizing force. It's this unspoken confirmation that your presence counts. You don't have to explain that your stress is valid or your efforts are real.
Because their attention proves it. And the psychology goes deep into how this proximity actually weaponizes our need for validation.
Mm.
We're not talking about wanting a cheerleader here. It is about existential grounding.
Meaning we need them to reflect reality back to us.
Right. Think about how human psychology works. We rely on external feedback to calibrate our internal state. When your partner is attuned to you, they act as a mirror reflecting a stable identity back at you.
But when someone shares your physical space and stops acting as a witness to your internal experience, the psychological fallout is severe. The mirror fogs up.
It really does.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because that fallout fundamentally shifts how we define isolation. We usually think of loneliness as sitting alone in an empty apartment. But the psychology here argues that the absolute harshest form of loneliness is feeling entirely invisible while physically sharing a home with your partner.
That is a devastating shift. You go from feeling chosen by the one person whose opinion anchors you to actively questioning your worth in their eyes. It is not a lack of companionship.
It's a void of recognition.
Yes, you are sitting on the same couch, watching the same television show, but emotionally, that foundational safety has cracked.
That makes perfect sense in theory. But when you zoom in on daily domestic life, how does that existential fear actually manifest? Because people usually aren't sitting around arguing about existential grounding over their morning coffee. They're usually arguing about the messy living room.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely decodes those absurd domestic blow-ups. Let's look at a classic scenario explored in the research. Guests are arriving soon, the pressure is on, and
And there's a stray sock left in the middle of the floor.
the ultimate relationship landmine.
On the surface, it is just cotton and laundry habits. You would think it could be resolved with a quick request.
But underneath, the emotional weight is massive, and it splits into dual perspectives. For the partner stepping over that ignored sock, their inner judge instantly jumps to a painful verdict.
If you won't even pick up a sock for something that matters to me, am I somebody who matters to you?
Exactly. The sock ceases to be an object and becomes a symbol of total disregard. Meanwhile, the other partner is experiencing a completely different but equally intense psychological spiral. Maybe they have been running errands all day, genuinely trying their best to prep the house, but they feel constantly hyper-managed.
So for them, getting yelled at over a dropped sock triggers their own inner judge. If my sincere efforts never land well, am I someone who will never be enough?
It is a collision of inner worlds. Neither person is necessarily trying to be difficult or malicious. They are both fiercely defending their core identity from feeling diminished by the person they love most.
The tragedy of the argument is that they are agonizing over the exact same hidden fear. Am I somebody who matters here?
Precisely.
So what does this all mean? It reminds you that in relationships, our inner worlds become so deeply intertwined that trivial moments act as verdicts on our identity. A piece of laundry stops being a chore and becomes a stress test of our relational dignity.
This raises an important question to leave you with. If the deepest wound of loneliness is the quiet fear that we are not worthy of love, how might we completely change the way we communicate if we viewed our partner's everyday frustrations not as behavioral attacks, but as hidden, fragile pleas for recognition?